Here is the Warsaw News, and I'm Hanna Ratynska. The latest headlines. More than 15 policemen were seriously injured in yesterday's riot in Kiev, Ukraine. It started with a huge but peaceful protest. The protesters attempted to take over the administration of the presidential building, even using a bulldozer to try and break through the police lines. The protesters threw rocks at the police and even used an as yet unknown gas. The people were protesting against the government's decision not to sign the Free Trade Zone agreement. It's hard to believe that the Ukraine government didn't take into account that signing this paper would simply lead to a reduction of tariffs, resulting in a decrease in prices. This would imply an increase in consumption by up to 12% over 10 years. Now moving on to Poland. The so-called Law of Beasts is soon to come into force. Thanks to this law, criminals who pose a major threat will be isolated in high-security institutions. Each unit will be surrounded by a 5.5-meter high solid wall and will contain about 60 beds. There will be electronic monitoring of the halls, remote-controlled doors and windows, and 24-hour CCTV monitoring. Murderers, rapists and child molesters, including those with personality disorders, will be detained here in the National Center for the Prevention of Antisocial Behavior. Currently, in Polish prisons, there are 2,400 sentenced who have personal disorders. One such prisoner, a convicted serial killer and rapist, Mariusz Trynkiewicz, who killed 4 little boys and was sentenced to 25 years in prison, is due to be released on February the 11th. Unless this law is passed, he won't hesitate to kill other children. He promises the media he's not going to stop. Now a few words about the 2014 Sochi Olympics, which start on the 7th of February and end on the 23rd. The Olympics are made up of many different sport events, starting with alpine skiing through bobsleigh to curling, and ski jumping, snowboarding, and ending up with short track skating and ice hockey. This list still doesn't cover all of the sport events during the Games. Everyone has their own favorite sportsman, but this time our country has to be a team. What chances do the Polish athletes have, and in which disciplines can they bring medals? Some say that even 9 medals are possible. Justyna Kowalczyk is likely to excel in cross-country skiing, Krystyna Pałka in the biathlon, Kamil Stoch and David Kubacki in the ski jumping, and Zbigniew Brudka in speed skating. Of course, these are only predictions, but we hope they'll come true. Recently, a famous actress, Angelina Jolie from Los Angeles, decided to have a double mastectomy after learning that she had an 87% chance of getting breast cancer. Her mother died 7 years ago, and Angelina, being a mother of 6 children, had to think about their future. While she was preparing for the operation, she kept it private, but afterwards she shared this information with the public, in the hope of helping other women. On May 14th, Angelina published an article in the New York Times about this difficult decision. She wrote, "I wanted to write this to tell other women that the decision to have a mastectomy was not easy, but it's one that I'm very happy that I made. Her chances of developing breast cancer have dropped to less than 5%. A survey was conducted in the Stefania Sempłowska Middle School in Warsaw among 224 pupils in the 5th form. Children were asked which subjects they hoped to specialize in when they moved on to a secondary school. They could choose between mathematics and physics, natural sciences, mathematics and social sciences, humanities, or foreign languages. 34% of students claimed they'd like to go to a language specialist school, 19% chose mathematics and social sciences, 16% chose natural sciences, and only 11% chose mathematics and physics, while the rest, 20%, chose humanities. This implies that the language schools will be oversubscribed this year, whereas the mathematics and physics will be undersubscribed. It looks as if there will be many disappointed children later this year when they fail to get into their first choice of school. And finally, let's look at the weather for tomorrow. January is traditionally a very cold month, but this year seems to be an exception, with the temperature ranging from 0 to 10 degrees. This is definitely not winter weather. However, tomorrow there is a possibility that winter will arrive. Snow is expected, and it will be minus 10 degrees or 15 even in most of the country. In the north, the temperature may even drop down to minus 20 degrees. Beware of icy roads. which may cause car accidents. And on top of all of that, we can expect to see some patchy fog and sleet showers. In the east of Poland, we are expecting heavy hailstorms. And in the south of our country, we predict a few avalanches, a couple of which may be severe. I suggest staying at home unless your journey is essential. And if you do go out, remember to wrap up warm. This brings an end to today's news and weather, so it's goodbye from me, Hania Ratynska, and I'll be back at the same time tomorrow evening. Thank you for watching and good night.